Hello YouTube, Inside Jacob's Mind here. Sorry, it's been a while. I am one lazy fucker. But anyway, I saw Civil War on Thursday, finally came out here in Australia, and last night I saw it again. So let's get into it. Civil War, it's the latest installment from the Marvel juggernaut, the Marvel money printing machine. And they've showed us here that you can in fact have superheroes fight each other and have it make sense. Give everyone clear motivations, and I hate to make this all about that battle between Marvel vs DC, but Warner Brothers, you need to take note from this because that's how it's done.
Stay down. Final warning. I could do this all day.
You'd think that these movies would be getting stale, considering Civil War is the 13th entry into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but they keep managing to introduce new dynamics. If The Avengers was a movie about all the good that comes from this superhero team-up, then Civil War shows us the other side of that coin. Saving the world from mass attacks always comes at a price, and this movie is really the first one in the cinematic universe to take an in-depth look at collateral damage, and it shows us how each of the characters is affected by that. So they introduced the Sokovia Accords. Now, this is basically the Superhero Registration Act from the 2006 comic of the same name, and the deal is with the Sokovia Accords, it's introduced by the government, the Secretary of State, and they basically, 117 countries have signed it, and it says that the Avengers have to be supervised now. They can't engage in a battle without explicit permission from a panel designated by the United Nations. So half of them agree, half of them disagree. You know, Tony feels guilty about a lot of the people he's killed and stuff that he's done, so he immediately signs it, and Captain America is more conflicted about it, and there we go. The Sokovia Accords is basically a metaphorical crowbar that pries our heroes apart. And there's a lot more to the plot of this movie, but I don't really want to give too much away. I don't want to spoil things because I think you should go in and enjoy it for yourself. While Civil War does boast an impressive roster, it's first and foremost a Captain America movie rather than an Avengers movie. The first Avengers showed us a guy, he's a young gung-ho soldier with a heart of gold, and now Winter Soldier showed us a badass, and this movie just develops his character even further. You know, he has to make some of the toughest decisions he ever has, and he really expands as a character, and he is 100% the protagonist of this movie. But that doesn't mean the movie doesn't conflict you, because it does. You will flip-flop sides watching this. I mean, me, I'm a big Captain America fan, so I'm sort of Team Cap through and through, but the movie does a great job of, you know, making you change your mind. You're like, Iron Man definitely has a point. The movie's not biased towards anybody, and you feel the weight, and each side has a good argument, which is great. The emotional core of the movie is the triple threat of Captain America, Iron Man, and Bucky, and everyone else is sort of a background player. A show stealer for me, though, was the man, the Spider-Man. Within 60 seconds of him first appearing in the film, I was 100% completely sold as Tom Holland playing our friendly neighborhood web slinger, because this dude did a great job, and he's not in the movie a whole lot. I'm not going to spoil how much he's in it or what he does, blah blah blah, but he steals pretty much every scene he's in. He's a lot of fun, and he's sort of joking and wisecracking his way through the much hyped airport battle scene, while everyone else on Team Stark is sort of a lot more serious. But you know, there's a lot of he has a lot of great one-liners, and Paul Rudd's Ant-Man really shines through in that respect as well, and it made me a lot more excited to see his next movie, Ant-Man and the Wasp, because Ant-Man, in the small amount of time he had, was really funny here. And everyone else was great. Everyone was great in it. Black Panther got a great introduction. He was a little rushed, but Chadwick Boseman gives a great performance. His suit is badass. He's a badass, and he's really fleshed out, and he's actually pretty important to the plot in this one, and I cannot wait to see where they go with him. Scarlet Witch is really well developed. Elizabeth Olsen actually gave one of the best performances in the movie as her character. She was great. There's so many people in this. Like, I'm definitely going to miss some people. Robert Downey Jr. is fantastic as Iron Man, definitely his best performance as the Ironclad hero, and Hawkeye shows up, he's good. Look, I could go on all day about the characters, but I won't because I can't be bothered. Alright, let's talk about the action. We see that in every single comic book movie. Action, heroes and villains, punching, kicking, and shooting each other. Same old, we get it. Captain America Civil War has hands down the best action of any film in the MCU. It's handled fantastically, and the Russo brothers have cemented themselves as the guys who deserve to be running the show, because they're going to be doing Avengers Infinity War 1 and 2, and they definitely deserve it because they make the best action. Everything's filmed and edited so cleanly and crisply. There's no stupid jump cuts, there's no angle changes, there's no shaky cam. It's just everything is clear and everything's really visceral, because a lot of the action scenes in this are more ground-based, you know, real hands-on fighting, no big sort of broad shootouts. It's real sort of closed in, which makes you feel closer to the characters and you feel like you're there within the fight. And it doesn't have that disconnect that it has from just sort of big sort of gun battles and stuff like that. One of my favorite things about the movie is that they've gotten rid of that end of the world usual end of the world bullshit. You know, every single superhero movie is like, oh, the villain wants to blow up the world, we have to stop it. This movie's on a much smaller scale, and it's a much more personal story. Heroes fighting heroes. There's no end of the world plot afoot. It's just, yeah, it's a long personal, and I really enjoyed it because it feels like one of the biggest Marvel movies so far. But at the same time, it's one of the smaller ones. I mean, obviously not as small as Ant-Man, but it's down there. Alright, let's talk about that airport scene. You know, the one from the trailer that was sort of hyped up. And I know in the trailer, a dozen heroes running at each other doesn't quite look as badass as the epic throwdown that we saw in the comics, but rest assured it is that epic, because this sequence is as good as it gets. It is hands down the best action scene we've had in any comic book movie ever. Now, I hate to jump aboard and add fuel to that hype train, but, you know, I don't want to sound like I'm praising it up too much, but it is. It's fantastic. It's completely worth the ticket price. This 20-minute ripper of a scene gave me everything I wanted, plus everything I didn't even know I want. It was so much fun. Just unadulterated superhero on superhero glory. So many different personalities and abilities coming together in one giant, colossal throwdown. It was great. Everybody gets their moment to shine. Everybody has their highs and lows. It didn't try to be too dark and serious. It was just a lot of fun. It knew what it was. I was just glued to the screen in the childlike sense of wonder that it gave me, because it was so much fun. Everybody did their part, and it was fun. It knew what it was. It was like, this is what superheroes are all about. I'm glad they didn't try to make this battle all dark and serious, because it didn't need to be. There were jokes in it. There were one-liners. You know, Spider-Man was being funny, Ant-Man was being funny, and it worked because it was just so much fun. And this is why we love superheroes, not this dark and gritty stuff. While it's good and it's more mature, really we love superheroes because they're fun, they're colourful, they're loud, and they're funny, and they fight each other. And God, I paid to see this scene twice, and I will pay to see it again. That's basically the whole reason I'm going to go see the movie again. The movie really is just about heroes going toe-to-toe. There is some villain presence in the background, but not much. Daniel Bruhl plays Zemo, and he's sort of pulling some strings in the background, and he's instrumental to the film's major conflict, but really, he's not that much of a villain, but I didn't have a problem with that. Some people are criticizing him as being a weak villain, but I'm like, he's not really that much of a villain. He is, but the film is about that conflict between Cap and Iron Man. It's not about a villain. He's there, yes, he needs to be there, but it's not about him, and I think he worked for what he was. I'm not going to spoil anything else about his character. I'm trying to tiptoe around the story here, but all I'll say is I thought Zemo worked, and Daniel Bruhl gave a pretty damn good performance. Frank Grillo comes back as Crossbones, and I was pretty disappointed with his use in the film. He's a badass character, and again, no spoilers, don't want to spoil anything, but I was pretty disappointed with what they did with the Crossbones character, and I thought they could have used him a lot better. As for other issues, I don't really have too many. As I said just then, like, Crossbones was a little weak in it. Vision was pretty underused. He was one of my favourite parts of Age of Ultron. Great performance from Paul Bettany, and in this, he just sort of came off as uninteresting. He didn't have a whole lot to do, and I wasn't as enamored with his character as I was when we first met him, so that was a little disappointing. And the movie doesn't really have that much of a strong female presence. Black Widow doesn't have a whole lot to do in the movie, with the exception of Scarlet Witch. She was great. She was one of my favourite parts of the movie. And then there's Sharon Carter as Agent 13, who I thought, yeah, she did alright. She'll play her part in further films. Overall, Civil War gave me pretty much everything I needed from it. A lot of fun, a lot of emotions. There were some emotionally draining moments. I mean, I'm not going to go out and say I cried like some people are saying, but you know, it was fun and it worked for me completely. It gave me everything I wanted. It doesn't quite hit that tension and dramatic heights of The Winter Soldier, or that complete fun and camaraderie that I loved in Guardians of the Galaxy, but it's up there as one of the best in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I really cannot wait to see where they go from here. Bring on Doctor Strange. That looks awesome. I don't know if you've seen the new teaser trailer for it, but that was amazing. But Civil War, don't miss it in theaters. Definitely watch it. It comes out next week in the US, and it is out here in Australia, so if you haven't seen it, get out there, go to the theater and watch it, because that airport battle is worth the admission price alone. Thanks for watching my Captain America Civil War review. It's been a while, so I'm a little bit rusty here, but yeah, let me know what other kinds of videos you want to see from me, because I've got plenty of movies I could review. I just don't know if you guys would be interested in it. Anyway, thanks for watching. Subscribe, follow me on Letterboxd, follow me on Twitter, and all that other good shit. Have a good one.